What if I told you that Hollywood's most picture-perfect couple just cracked under pressure, and the truth behind their split might be uglier than anyone could imagine? Nicole Kidman, the queen of composure, has just filed for divorce, and her reason? A shocking courtroom scandal involving her own husband, country music superstar Keith Urban, and rising singer Maggie Baugh. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Maggie who once called Nicole her idol, the same Keith who swore his marriage was unbreakable. Now, the three of them are tangled in a legal nightmare that's got fans, lawyers, and gossip blogs absolutely losing their minds. What started as a friendly mentorship between Keith and Maggie turned into a full-blown courtroom circus with leaked voicemails, hidden text messages, and what insiders are calling the most humiliating betrayal of Nicole's entire career. But here's the real question: was this all a setup to destroy Keith's career? Or did Nicole finally get tired of playing the quiet wife while her husband's mentorships turned into something else entirely? Because if these new court documents are even half true, Hollywood might never recover from what's about to be exposed. They said Hollywood marriages were built on illusion, but no one expected this one to shatter so loudly. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were supposed to be the gold standard, the couple who made it through fame, fortune, and 1,000 tabloid lies. Yet here we are, staring down the most chaotic celebrity scandal of the year. And it all starts with one name, Maggie Baugh. Now, for those who don't know, Maggie isn't just some random up-and-coming country singer. Oh no, she was Keith's protege, the sweet, small-town girl he brought into the spotlight, calling her the future of country music. But insiders say the mentorship went from studio sessions to something far more personal. One assistant even told a gossip outlet, Maggie wasn't acting like a mentee, she was acting like she already had the ring. Things reportedly started unraveling when Nicole showed up, unannounced at Keith's private studio in Nashville earlier this year. What she found, or thought she found, sent shockwaves through their marriage. According to one insider, Nicole stormed out after a heated argument that lasted over 2 hours, leaving the studio in tears while Keith and Maggie stayed behind. And the next morning, Maggie's car was still there. Coincidence? Fans don't think so. But the real explosion came weeks later, when Maggie filed a civil lawsuit against Keith Urban, accusing him of breach of professional trust and emotional manipulation. In plain English, she's claiming he used her. In her court statement, she says Keith promised career support and then withdrew it once I set boundaries. Keith's team immediately fired back, calling the allegations false, defamatory, and motivated by jealousy. Still, the damage was done. Overnight, headlines screamed, Keith Urban's secret relationship exposed. Social media caught fire. One fan tweeted, "This is giving Justin Timberlake energy. Charming in public, chaotic in private." Another wrote, "Nicole deserves better. Maggie just set the whole industry on fire." And Nicole? Silent, not a word, not a post. But her absence spoke louder than any statement. For weeks, she was spotted without her wedding ring, arriving at charity galas solo, looking exhausted, detached. Paparazzi photos showed her avoiding cameras, hiding behind sunglasses, and every image became another puzzle piece in the story the world wanted to believe. Then came the court leak, a 47-page report allegedly containing private messages between Keith and Maggie started circulating in entertainment circles. The messages, if real, painted an uncomfortable picture: late-night calls, emotionally charged texts, and one particularly haunting line from Keith saying, "You make me feel alive again, something I've been missing for years." Insiders claim Nicole confronted Keith with those very words during a dinner in Los Angeles, a confrontation that reportedly ended with Nicole leaving the restaurant mid-meal. She looked heartbroken, said a diner who allegedly witnessed the scene. He tried to follow her, but she just shook her head and left, and that's when things got ugly. Maggie was suddenly everywhere. Talk shows, podcast interviews, even cryptic Instagram lives where she'd say things like, "Truth always wins in court," or "Some people just can't handle being exposed." She never said Keith's name directly. But come on, everyone knew. Every clip went viral. every comment section turned into a war zone between Team Nicole and Team Maggie, and poor Keith? He went full PR mode, canceled appearances, hired a new lawyer, released a vague statement about respecting the legal process, but fans weren't buying it. Some even accused him of paying hush money to keep the messages from leaking in full. One alleged insider claimed a private investigator was hired to contain the scandal before it ruined his touring deals. Meanwhile, Nicole reportedly began preparing for divorce quietly behind the scenes. Sources close to her said she was emotionally done and just waiting for the right legal timing to make her move. Nicole is protecting her empire. One anonymous friend told Starline Weekly, "She's not just walking away from a husband, she's walking away from a brand that no longer represents her." But here's where the twist hits hardest. According to a confidential document filed last month, Nicole's team discovered new financial irregularities tied to Keith's personal accounts, large transfers labeled consulting, and production bonuses, all going to Maggie's management company. Coincidence? Or hush payments disguised as business deals? And before anyone could digest that, the court case took a darker turn. Reports surfaced that Maggie's legal team planned to call Nicole as a witness. Yes, you heard that right, Nicole Kidman herself, testifying against her own husband. Sources said Nicole's lawyers were furious, calling it a public ambush. Maggie's attorney, however, doubled down, saying, "Our client has nothing to hide. The truth will come out, whether Mrs. Kidman likes it or not," and that, folks, was the final straw. Within 48 hours, Nicole's legal team filed for divorce in California Superior Court. No press conference, no public statement, just cold, official paperwork. The reason cited? Irreconcilable differences, but everyone knows. That's just celebrity code for betrayal too big to forgive. But if you think that's the end of the story, no, this is just the beginning. Because as soon as Nicole's divorce filing hit the news, new witnesses started crawling out of the woodwork, and what they're claiming could flip the entire narrative upside down. Within hours of Nicole Kidman's divorce filing hitting the internet, the narrative started to twist fast. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know, was Maggie Baugh really the victim she claimed to be? Or was this a carefully orchestrated PR bomb meant to destroy Keith Urban and take Nicole down in the process? Leaked court footage from that first preliminary hearing painted a very different picture. Maggie appeared composed, almost rehearsed, wearing a sharp black suit, flashing a confident smile at the cameras. Keith, meanwhile, looked drained, pale, clutching a folder like it was his last lifeline. Nicole didn't attend that day, but her absence was all anyone talked about, and then came the leak that no one saw coming. An anonymous Reddit post claiming to be from a former assistant on Keith's music team. The post read, "Maggie was obsessed with Keith. She'd wait outside his dressing room, send him hundreds of messages, even show up at his hotel after gigs. He tried to end it, but she threatened to ruin him if he cut her off." It sounded like fan fiction until screenshots started circulating of Maggie allegedly sending messages to producers, bragging that she could end a Grammy winner's marriage with one press release. Fans were stunned. Comment sections exploded. "Wait, so Maggie set him up?" One user wrote, "This is starting to sound like a full-on blackmail situation." Within days, the hashtag #MaggieGate was trending worldwide. Memes flooded Twitter. Side-by-side photos of Maggie smiling next to a crying Nicole, captions like "mentor" or "menace." And from guitar lessons to court sessions, TikTok detectives broke down every lyric of Maggie's latest single, under oath, claiming it was a veiled confession about her relationship with Keith. One clip went viral. A fan theory connecting Maggie's lawsuit filing date to Nicole's last public appearance with Keith. The overlap was uncanny. The narrator in that video said, Maggie waited until Nicole was out of the country filming her new project before she filed. That's not coincidence, that's strategy. But while the internet was busy picking sides, something else was happening behind closed doors. Court insiders leaked that Nicole's legal team had subpoenaed hundreds of text messages between Maggie and Keith, plus digital transactions showing unexplained cash transfers, not from Keith's main account, but from a joint investment fund he shared with Nicole. Meaning, Nicole's own money might have been unknowingly funding Maggie's career. And that's when Nicole snapped. According to a source close to her inner circle, she reportedly told a friend, "He didn't just betray me, he used me to fund her." Those words allegedly made their way into her divorce filings under the section labeled emotional and financial misconduct. But here's where the plot thickens. A second whistleblower emerged, this time from within Maggie's own camp. A former tour coordinator emailed several media outlets saying the entire lawsuit was a setup. Maggie knew exactly what she was doing. She had a PR team coaching her on how to appear sympathetic and how to push Keith into settlement talks. Suddenly, the sympathy Maggie had built began to crumble. TV hosts who had previously defended her started backpedaling. One daytime commentator said, "We might have been played." If these leaks are true, Maggie's not a victim, she's the architect. Keith, meanwhile, broke his silence, sort of. He appeared in a shaky Instagram video from his Tennessee ranch. Eyes red, voice trembling. "I've made mistakes," he said, "but I didn't deserve this level of destruction. My family doesn't deserve it." The clip went viral in minutes. Fans called it raw, heartbreaking, and too late. But right when public opinion started leaning back toward Keith, Maggie went nuclear. She released a press statement through her lawyer claiming that Keith had violated court confidentiality and attempted to manipulate the narrative through emotional blackmail. The statement accused him of staging that emotional video to gain sympathy before crucial evidence could be reviewed. The court quickly issued a gag order, silencing both sides from making further public comments. But by then, the story was out of control. Every entertainment outlet was spinning its own version, some painting Keith as a fallen hero, others calling Nicole a woman scorned, and some suggesting Maggie was a mastermind playing the long game. And then, as if scripted for maximum chaos, TMZ dropped a bombshell. They published surveillance footage allegedly showing Maggie and her attorney entering a luxury hotel room with a man who looked suspiciously like a tabloid journalist. The footage was timestamped just 24 hours before a leaked batch of Keith's private emails appeared online. Coincidence? Yeah, no one bought that. The emails were explosive. They included confidential details about Keith's mental health struggles, arguments with Nicole, and private admissions about feeling trapped between fame and family. Maggie's team denied any involvement, but the damage was irreversible. And right when it seemed like Keith's reputation couldn't take another hit, Nicole re-entered the picture with icy precision. Her PR team released a short, chilling statement. Ms. Kidman has chosen to prioritize her peace and her children. Any attempt to involve her in the ongoing dispute will be met with immediate legal action. Translation? She was done playing nice. In the following week, paparazzi spotted her at the Four Seasons in Los Angeles, not hiding, but glowing. New haircut, no wedding ring, smiling. That single photo of Nicole laughing by the pool broke the internet. One fan tweeted, "That's the look of a woman who just dropped 180 pounds of emotional baggage." Meanwhile, Maggie's streams dropped by 30%. Concert promoters began backing out. Sponsors quietly cut ties. And Keith? He was seen boarding a flight to Sydney with his daughters, refusing to answer questions. But just when everyone thought the dust was settling, a new court document leaked online that sent shockwaves through the entire industry. The leaked court document changed everything. It wasn't just another rumor. It was a 96-page dossier filled with emails, text messages, and private financial records that painted an entirely new picture of what had been happening behind closed doors. And at the center of it all was not just Keith Urban, not just Maggie Baugh, but a third name, Nicole Kidman herself. According to the document, Nicole had been in quiet communication with Maggie's legal team months before the scandal exploded publicly. One section even referenced a confidential settlement discussion, where Nicole allegedly offered to mediate between Maggie and Keith to avoid public embarrassment. But here's the kicker, the timestamps on those messages. came before Maggie ever filed her lawsuit, meaning Nicole might have known everything before it hit the news. The internet went berserk. Commentators called it the betrayal inside the betrayal. One viral tweet read, "Wait, so Nicole knew Maggie was about to sue Keith, and she just let him walk into it blind? That's next level cold." Another said, "Plot twist, Nicole played chess while everyone else played checkers," but as more of the documents leaked, the truth only got murkier. In one section, a private investigator hired by Keith's team claimed Nicole had already been secretly moving her assets into offshore trusts weeks before the scandal broke. She was preparing for a storm, the report said. One she may have known was coming. Suddenly, fans began asking the unthinkable, was Nicole the real orchestrator here? Did she let Maggie go after Keith to justify her divorce and protect her fortune? Insiders say Keith's lawyers were blindsided. One even told The Hollywood Whisperer, "We thought we were fighting Maggie's team. Turns out, we might have been fighting Nicole's too." And the craziest part? Maggie herself seemed to confirm it in her own twisted way. During a late-night Instagram live that lasted less than 10 minutes, she smirked and said, "Some people like to play the long game. You just have to know which side of the board you're on." She ended the live with a smirk and a cryptic line, "Ask Nicole." That clip alone got over 12 million views in 24 hours. The next morning, Nicole's team released an official denial. Ms. Kidman had no involvement in any legal proceedings or communications prior to Ms. Baugh's lawsuit. Any claim suggesting otherwise is categorically false, but even with that denial, people couldn't unsee the patterns. Too many coincidences, too many quiet moves, and then, as if fate was mocking them all, another scandal erupted. Court reporters leaked that Keith's lawyers were preparing a countersuit against Maggie for defamation and malicious interference in marital affairs, and the witness list included Nicole Kidman. Yes, Keith Urban subpoenaed his own wife. The internet froze. Every gossip show went into emergency broadcast mode. TMZ ran the headline, "Urban vs. Kidman, Divorce War Goes Nuclear." Entertainment Tonight called it Hollywood's most dramatic implosion since Depp vs. Heard. According to court insiders, Nicole's lawyers fought tooth and nail to quash the subpoena, claiming she was being targeted out of revenge, but the judge ruled otherwise. She'd have to testify. And on that morning, when Nicole Kidman stepped into the courthouse dressed in black, face unreadable, not a single word to the cameras, it felt like the end of an era. Fans stood outside chanting her name, reporters screamed questions, and Keith didn't even look up as she passed. Inside, according to multiple sources, Nicole's testimony was calm, concise, and brutal. She didn't defend Keith. She didn't protect Maggie. Instead, she described a marriage built on illusion and exhaustion, saying that everyone in this story got hurt, including me. Courtroom witnesses said you could hear a pin drop. Keith reportedly wiped his face with a tissue. Maggie stared straight ahead, stone-faced. By the time Nicole walked out, social media had already declared her the victor. Hashtags like #QueenNicole and #JusticeForKidman started trending. Fans called her the ultimate strategist, Hollywood's quiet hurricane, and the woman who turned betrayal into legacy. But behind that calm exterior, insiders say Nicole was done. A friend close to her reportedly told PageWave she doesn't care who wins in court. She just wants peace, and she's already moved on emotionally. Keith, on the other hand, was left picking up the pieces. His tour deals were on hold, endorsements frozen, and several country radio stations quietly pulled his music pending the outcome of the trial. Meanwhile, Maggie vanished from the public eye entirely. Her social media accounts wiped clean, upcoming shows postponed indefinitely. Then, almost poetically, 3 days after Nicole's court appearance, she posted a single photo on Instagram. No caption, no hashtags. Just an image of her standing on a balcony overlooking the ocean, wind blowing through her hair, wearing a white sundress. Within minutes, the comments exploded. Rebirth, she's free. Hollywood's phoenix rises again. And just when everyone thought the story was over, a final twist dropped. A blind item from a major gossip outlet hinted that Nicole had quietly signed a multi-million-dollar production deal for a new film project, loosely based on a woman navigating betrayal in a high-profile marriage. the working title? The Court of Silence. Fans instantly speculated it was inspired by her own scandal. One comment summed it up perfectly: Nicole doesn't do interviews, she makes movies, as of now. Maggie's lawsuit remains under review, Keith's countersuit is pending, and Nicole has officially relocated to Australia with her children. Hollywood insiders are calling it the most cinematic breakup of all time, and in the end, maybe that's what it was. A tragedy, a betrayal, a performance, all rolled into one, because if there's one thing this scandal proved, it's that in Hollywood, there are no innocent parties, just better directors. And Nicole Kidman? She might have just directed the most shocking plot twist of her entire career. Stay tuned, because the fallout from this isn't over, not by a long shot.